Bonney has officially been liberated, and with her potential Devil Fruit awakening in chapter 1118, she's about to flip Egghead Island right on its head. Now, in the past, I've made the speculation that Bonney's H Fruit had the potential to be on the same level as Luffy's. On the surface, Bonney's Devil Fruit appeared relatively simple, where the main strength of her power seemed to enable her to freely manipulate the aging process of anything, whether it's an inanimate object or a living organism. When she was first introduced in Sabaody, she'd used her power to immobilize the Marines by rapidly aging them into senior citizens and regressing them into small weak children. We've also seen her use her Devil Fruit strategically when she aged herself to impersonate the elderly queen of the Sorbet Kingdom to sneak into their reverie. But throughout the course of Egghead Island, we've come to realize that Bonney's Devil Fruit is incredibly unique, and has been subtly hinted it may be in a class of its own and on the same level as Luffy's Devil Fruit. And after the current chapter, we've come to realize her power is actually intricate, complex, and with the potential where, much like Luffy's Devil Fruit, any future she can conceive as possible she can bring into reality. With the only limitation of this power is Bonney's belief in herself, making it one of the most broken Devil Fruits we have ever seen. But what's now apparent is the more liberated Bonney's imagination becomes, the more boundless is her skill set. This was first hinted when Bonney mimicked Luffy's Nika power back in chapter 1101, when she utilized Distorted Future, a future like Nika, where she shapeshifted her perceived future into a form that is capable of manifesting Sun God Nika's physique, including being able to take on his rubber properties identical to Luffy's Gear 3 form. And what's interesting is when Bonney first used her Gear 3-like power, it actually parallels Luffy's first usage of Gear 3, where both Luffy and Bonney used this power for the first time in a battle against a Cypher Pull agent. This is then further reinforced when Bonney later uses Distorted Future, a future like a giant, in chapter 1113, where she manifested a future where she has gained a large physique akin to a giant, which also parallels when Luffy first turned into a giant against Kaido in Wano. But what's truly amazing is in both panels, Luffy and Bonney are in the exact same pose. And from these instances, we can identify that Bonney's Devil Fruit is unlike any other Paramecia type we have seen. And what's more interesting is Bonney's Distorted Future technique adheres to Vegapunk's theory of Devil Fruits being a manifestation of what is possible for human evolution, where all the different powers representing the many branches for the possibilities of humans are brought into existence by human hope and desire. And in chapter 1118, all of this build-up comes to a head when Luffy returns to his Gear 5 form to confront the head-on attack from the Gorosei. Now, when Bonney first met Luffy at the beginning of the arc, she asked Luffy what is wrong with his wanted poster, and Luffy simply responded, "That's how I look when I'm free." And at first this made no sense to Bonney at all, and she simply disregarded it as Luffy being a little bit of a nutcase. But after witnessing Luffy embody Sun God Nika incarnated for the first time, this moment had completely shifted Bonney's perspective and what she conceives as possible. Her mindset had shifted, and she had an epiphany that she can finally take her future into her own hands. Which is why in the most recent chapter, when Luffy and Bonney interact after Luffy transforms following his consumption of 30 tons of food, he asks her to join him and take on the Gorosei together. And while Bonney initially disregards it as an impossibility, Luffy states that he doesn't understand her power, but he believes in her. And at this moment does Bonney truly become free. She's able to move past her trauma, her self-doubt, her inner turmoil after gaining Kuma's memories. And for the first time ever, she acts on behalf of her own wants and desires, and manifests a future where she is truly liberated. And with her Distorted Future, the future where I'm most free, we can speculate this is Bonney's Devil Fruit awakening in real time, with Bonney manifesting a giant Nika form in the same pose as Luffy when he awakened his Devil Fruit in Gear 5, with white clouds floating around her neck, white and curly hair, white clothes, eyes with ring-like pupils, and leaving everyone around her baffled, shocked, and unsure of what to do next. We have Dory and Brogy having the most epic dance battle of all time when they should be extinguishing the flames on their ship. The remaining giants are convinced they're witnessing two Nikas, while the Marines are convinced they're witnessing two white giants. And it seems they both are right. But probably the greatest moment from this chapter following Bonney's transformations are the reactions from the Gorosei. We have Mercury and Jupiter's spidey senses going haywire, where they react instinctively and change course from hunting the remaining Vegapunk satellites, and redirect themselves towards the Elbaf ships, to see why the air pressure had changed so dramatically. And then we have Mars, clearly inspired by Dragon's most famous quotes of all time with his iconic 3 dots, is absolutely speechless. But one thing we can be certain of, as stated by the ancient giant robot, is that he is here. And who else could he be talking about but Joy Boy? But this time it better realize that Joy Girl is right beside him. But until next time, like and subscribe.